Indiana. Welcome to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show, presented by Scott K. Nichols and State Farm Insurance. And now, here's your hosts, Brandon Reef and Jonathan Birdsong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crossroads Sports Radio, episode number 222. I'm your host, Brandon Reef. I'll be joined momentarily by my co-host. We've got a big show lined up for you this evening. We've got the NFL talk, NFL preseason, week 1 done. We're approaching week number 2. The NFL season is vastly approaching us. We've got that talk. We've got breakdowns. We are doing regional breakdowns. We have a region here in Indianapolis where we have a lot of NFL teams, a lot of fan bases around this general area. We're going to break down teams, an in-depth talk on the teams that are local-ish around us. We've got Bears, Packers, Lions, Steelers, Browns, Bengals, Colts. We're going to talk all those teams and more over the next couple weeks. Tonight, we have the Steelers and the Bengals, two rivalries. Cincinnati Bengals, Super Bowl runners-up last year. We've got them to talk about tonight. We've got plenty to talk about with the NCAA college football season vastly approaching. Next week is week 0. I'm pretty sure week 0 next week. Can't wait. We'll have our picks for next week as well. Looking into that, we've got a little golf talk, NBA, some news. One of the best players of all time in the league, LeBron James. We'll talk him. He's in the news today, as well as the NBA schedule being released. The Pacers, we've got the Pacers schedule. We'll kind of talk some news and notes for the Pacers schedule as well. So there are also with LeBron James, there is a chance that he could be breaking the all-time scoring record in Indianapolis this year. So it's on the potential games where he could be breaking it. So imagine that ticket. If you want to get that ticket, go ahead and get it now. But without further ado, my co-host, Jonathan Birdsong, JB, how are you?
Brandon Reed, Crossroad listening audience, what's going on, man? Brandon, you said a mouthful, man. You gave the entire show rundown, man. Where did we start at? That's what I got to say. Where did we start at?
Do you need to wish a happy birthday to somebody?
Do I need to wish a happy birthday to somebody?
Yeah. Maybe your frenemy?
Today?
Yeah.
Man, man, I already wish him a happy birthday from the deep state, man. Dan Dockett, if he's listening. I know he is, man. Say happy birthday. But I already did it, man. I'm not.
And Three Foolish Men, I put you right in that category.
All right, John, we are. Hey, you know what? Sometimes we gotta call it out when we see it. So, what a great week it's been as well. Just a lot of craziness. I've got some personal good news going on. Nice little promotion with my job. That's gonna free up a lot more of my schedule as well. Be able to do a lot more things, get more to a standard schedule. So I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait for that. Makes a lot of things a hell of a lot easier. So looking for that.
There you go.
Let's dive, John, right into the NFL, the National Football League. Colts, Indianapolis Colts, week 1 preseason. They went up to Buffalo Orchard Park, took on the Buffalo Bills. Colts lost 27-24. Matt Ryan, 6 of 10, 58 yards. Sam Ehlinger, 88 yards passing, 10 of 11 with 2 touchdowns. It was very short and efficient passes was what the Colts were looking to go out there with. Jonathan Taylor did not play the preseason. He will not play in the preseason. Nick Foles did get some action. All 3 quarterbacks had a touchdown. John, your thoughts just on preseason game number 1. I will say, to finish it off where you go, I'm a little concerned that Buffalo's number 2s were whooping up on the Colts number 1s. I was a little concerned with that, but it is preseason number 1. John, what was your thoughts?
Just my thoughts, man, was a little inconsistency. It was good to see Sam Ehlinger throw the ball around a little bit. You have a little bit more faith now in the quarterback room. I guess I'm thinking for myself, man, because again, Matt Ryan's going to be the starter this year, but you never know, man. This is the kind of league you never know league, man. So if they take a significant injury where Matt Ryan is out 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks, you know what I'm saying? You feel confident. You've seen what you've seen out of Sam Ehlinger and even in Nick Foles today. If anybody kind of listens to gets reported out of what comes out of training camp as they win against Detroit, team versus team today. Like you kind of feel good about what you hear, at least in the short term, at least in going into the season, right? You know, because we know sometimes things can kind of fall out the bed. You know what I'm saying, with some of the people names that we mentioned on the team now. So, but like, no, man. So, real vanilla though too. Also, so you get a real vanilla feeling of what the secondary is going to look like. They got some bugs to fix. You know, some things to work out. It would still be nice if they had another. You would want a veteran wide out. Who that is, Brandon, I don't know. It's behind the scenes. They're mulling over their choices. Is it going to be Ty or is it going to be Odell? I don't. And I think they're probably if you had to lean towards one another. If they don't sign either, I can see that happening. But I can see them signing Ty. But again, they got to figure out a number. Outside of that, though, Brandon, I was more concerned. Not necessarily about the quarterback play. I think that like I said, that room is probably one of the better quarterback rooms in the league. Well, that's too bold of a statement. I would put him definitely. You know what I'm saying? As sure as who I trust, I would put him in the top 10. Some got top 10 room, quarterback room. What is concerning is the offensive line still allowed a couple sacks that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I guess technically that's nitpicking, but it's something that is it nitpicking or is it carryover from last season? You know what I mean? So, but other than that, Brandon, defense was flying. The defense looked good to me. And what is that? In my estimation, what is that defense gonna look like when you add Shaquille Leonard? I said Darius Leonard, man. Shame
That's
on
all
me.
right. You can call him that.
What's that defense gonna look like? So what's that defense gonna look like when you add Shaquille Leonard? I think it's gonna look even more impressive. So when that happens, again, there's a lot of speculation around that. Some people think week 3. Some people think maybe sooner. They definitely gonna play in the preseason. But again, man, defense the Colts look good. Got a few bugs they got to figure out offensively. And again, what I'm saying, if you believe if you walk like a duck, talk like a duck, it must be a duck. You might be a little concerned about their offensive line protection.
Yeah, Nyheim Hines, 8 carries, 26 yards. Obviously, no Jonathan Taylor this preseason. Phillip Lindsay, 5 carries, 24 yards. He's new into Indianapolis this year. Sam Ehlinger, it's kind of cliche, but yeah, he kind of reminds you of a Texas style high school quarterback that you had back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That type of feel. Yeah, he went to Texas, but being able to get out of the pocket, run. Colts really haven't had that in a long time. I mean, Jacoby could run, but it was like a slow run with Jacoby Brissett.
Right.
And then you had you're going to have basically 2 statues back there with Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan. But I do see now that there's a report now that the Colts, obviously Nick Foles is going to be the backup. It's been clear that Frank Wright and them are going to have him as their backup. That Sam Ehlinger either A, is not going to be on the roster. He'll be either a practice squad person. Maybe they keep him on the roster if they don't want him to get stolen from another team and, they feel comfortable to having that much depth. Or C, John, there's rumor now that Sam Ehlinger might be trade bait for a team that may not feel as comfortable with a number 2 right now as their backup quarterback. What's your thoughts on the Colts possibly using Ehlinger as trade bait? Personally, I would not do it because I feel like if somehow it comes to Nick Foles' experience, I don't know if I'd want to trust that. And if you've already got Ehlinger, then you're a little screwed.
Right, Brandon. That's what I was kind of alluding to, man. Like, again, Nick Foles as a starter might get you in this day and age. Where he's in his career right now, he might get you 4 good games. Right, I'm not saying those are where. I'm just saying where he played exceptionally well. We have to remember the season of 17 games. I don't know, man. I kind of don't like that, man. I know they had to make a certain amount of cuts, to get the roster down. But I thought Sam Ellinger did enough, at least in that game. And then also we remember he leaps and bounds what he did last year. You know what I mean? If we remember, the time he split between the other guy that they shipped out of here last year in the preseason. So I don't know. I hopefully they can find a spot for him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do there. Week 2, Colts Lions this weekend. The Fighting Dan Campbells. They are in town up here in Westfield. They are practicing with the Colts today and tomorrow. With the big game on Saturday, 1:00 down at Lucas Oil Stadium. Colts have said that they are not going to be playing their ones in this game. So we're looking at backups playing all this weekend. And then apparently the Colts are possibly going to play their starters in week 3 against Tampa. It still remains to be seen against Tampa what Tampa is going to come out with if they play their starters. Tom Brady may not even be back onto the squad by the time they come here to Indianapolis the following week. I've been watching Hard Knocks. I got to watch last night's episode. I had so much going on last night. It was crazy. I still got to recap last night's Hard Knocks episode with the Detroit Lions, but I do like to see what they're coming out with in practice. I think they will be most improved, very improved. I know we talked last week, I believe we talked what their record we thought it could be up there in Detroit, and we're going to hone in on Detroit. The Lions are going to be on one of our future shows previewing it. We've got Bears, Colts, Browns, Lions, and Packers. Those 5 teams we still have to cram in over the next couple weeks. So we'll give a little bit more of a preview for the Lions then. John, I do want to talk real quick. Zach Wilson. My God, we thought Zach Wilson and the Jets could turn a corner. We like the makeup of this roster, what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then the knee injury. It's not as severe as expected, but he did have some knee surgery that he's going to be out for a couple weeks. Insert Super Bowl winner Joe Flacco.
Yeah, man, definite setback, man, as far as Zach Wilson's progress. Again, the Jets went out and spent money. This past particular year, they spent money on both sides of the ball. To support their young quarterback. That's kind of the blueprint of how to run it. What's the quickest way to get to the Super Bowl, right? To find a young, talented quarterback and then put a great team around him. Because now, if you remember, folks, we're on rookie contracts with Zach Wilson, right? So yeah, they can load up and pay for offensive lineman there, pay for a ride out, some support here, there, right, and even bring another running back. But if you don't have Zach Wilson out there, they kind of like, not necessarily having the engine, in the car, make everything kind of go. So he's going to, he had a procedure, right, to fix a tear in his knee. So he did tear something. He just didn't tear, obviously, he didn't tear his ACL, which is great, right? But it does set back the Jets' plans. And it's something we talk about a second-year guy who didn't necessarily take a giant leap. He took the small steps as the season progressed, but he didn't necessarily take a giant leap into being like, oh, okay, he's got it. What I seen in college when when the time when he was lighting it up out in the Mountain West, right, out on the West Coast, right, and what we've seen last year is a lot of potential. You know what I mean? But again, potential can only be taken so far unless when it's out there on the field. So Zach's gonna be out for a couple weeks. Definitely not playing no more preseason. There's talk that he'll be ready to go by at least week number 2. Again, man, I don't know anybody who have position. I mean, NFL guys, all athletes, matter of fact, are different when it comes to healing and getting out there. Yeah, but again, man, he's got to get his reps up. He's got to get his familiarity with the offensive line, and like I said, and his new team, and ultimately like how to win week to week to week to week instead of like how many games did the Jets win last year? 5. You know what I mean? So he's learning, and unfortunately he's got to learn on the sidelines. And then unfortunately, like I said, I'm trying to hammer home. You can't learn on the sideline. So you learn some things, but you can't ultimately, what needs to be is production on the field. So we'll get a little bit back, a little bit later than sooner, unfortunately. So definitely a small blow into the Jets' plan this year.
Looking ahead for the Jets regular season, home opener against Baltimore. Then they go to Cleveland, home against Cincinnati, and at Pittsburgh. So they open up their first 4 games against the AFC North. You got to think between weeks 2 and 4, Zach Wilson would come back. They're at Cleveland, who's going to be without Deshaun Watson. You would think that they're probably to be on the safe side, sit him out, bring him back week 3 at home against the Bengals. I think would be a big one for them. So, John, I want to recap Pittsburgh Steelers. My Steelers played on Saturday night, home game against Seattle preseason. Obviously, we are in the post era of Big Ben Roethlisberger. Steelers win 32-25 over Seattle. It came down to the last few seconds. Thank God the damn thing didn't go to overtime because I was really worried about going to overtime in a stupid preseason game. All 3 quarterbacks played. Mitch Trubisky came out with the number 1s. Mason Rudolph came out with the number 2s. And then Kenny Pickett, our new our draft pick quarterback, came out.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 guys threw touchdowns. Kenny Pickett, we'll talk first.
Brady.
What?
Brandon, you almost said it. You our new starting quarterback. You almost said
I know,
it.
I almost did.
It'll probably be set and played by week 7.
I need to give some respect to my man Mitch. Mitch Trubisky, 4 of 7, a touchdown. Mason Rudolph was 9 of 15 with a touchdown. Kenny Pickett, 13 of 15, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a game-winning drive at the end of the game. Rushing-wise, Anthony McFarland was in there. Najee did not play. I do love what Anthony McFarland as a change of pace back. Master Teague got hurt today. So he kind of got carted off with a little bit of a knee injury, but I think he'll be okay. Master Teague, who was if you remember, at Ohio State last year. Jalen Warren, those guys had some good rushes the other night. Wide receivers, John, he looks like the real deal. George Pickens, rookie wide receiver from Georgia, dazzling plays. I saw him just truck stick a dude right off the line of scrimmage. He caught a toe-tapping touchdown pass from my man Mitch Trubisky. Or excuse me, no, it was Mason Rudolph he caught that touchdown pass from. It's interesting to see this team. You know, George Pickens, no Deontay Johnson, Tavon Austin didn't play in this game. I like the way this squad looked. The defense stepped it up. You know, they didn't play a lot, but I like what the quarterback option looked like for these Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought all 3 guys played well. There's talk that Mason Rudolph might be traded by the end of the week and that Detroit is interested in Mason Rudolph. So that's another thing. I don't think they're going to trade him right now. He's got another year left on his deal. I think they're going to roll with all 3 on the roster. I really do, just because of how, and we'll talk about it in depth when we talk to Steelers here, but Kenny Pickett, John, I was impressed. I'm a picky guy. Pickett and Pickens.
Right. What was the main knock? You know what I'm saying? His draft analysis said he had small hands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody looked at the ability to throw down the field. Nobody looked at nobody commented on the ability to have a little bit of escapability as my man can get mobile. You know what I'm saying? At certain times.
3 rushes, 16 yards.
Which you like out of which you like out of Pickett. You know what I'm saying? Even in the preseason game that, you know what I'm saying, nobody's trying to get hurt, right? Is which you like out of it, like I said, he's so poised. And the more game type, the more, you know what I'm saying, the bigger the game, like, you know what I'm saying, he has to go through that maturation. He has to go through that process. Again, he's not named the starter just yet because, again, you know what I'm saying, we tip our hats to the vets first. And that's how football should be played. You know, unless the quarterback is, you know what I'm saying, head over heels like the guy. So again, we have a great competition right now. Unless you know what I'm saying, Mason Rudolph contest, we have great competition right now where we know who the starter is going to be. We being the Steelers, we know who the starter is going to be. Mitch Trubisky, per the contract, he's going to be the starter. Per what we've seen out of Mitch Trubisky, he's been able to win games. He's shown the ability, you know what I'm saying, to play winning with the Bears. He's shown the ability to play winning football. So that's why he's the starter. Now if the kid through the course of this season, the 17-game season, if the Steelers struggle from an offensive standpoint, if they win games, Brandon, if they struggle from an offensive standpoint from the quarterback position, and you got Pickett on the sideline, like, dude, I can't believe Brandon, you know what? They're going to feel when you redraft it, they're going to be like, why didn't Kenny Pickett go top 5, top 6? That's what it's going to be.
I hope.
But
I'm not trying to get too excited, but I like the way all three of them looked today.
Well,
or last night, the other night.
Right. You have to, like I said, you have to like it. You already know that Rich Trubisky is a bridge quarterback anyway, right? And you know what I'm saying, Mason has won you some games in patchwork, right? But you know what I'm saying, this other kid potentially could be like, he was in your backyard all that time. Right? You know what I mean? So it kind of just worked out for the Pittsburgh Steelers fans. So again, they have to like what they have to like what they had as far as quarterback play, and again, in the defense. Brandon, I always point. I would have never question this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. What I will, again, I have to nitpick it. It's not like they play terrible either. So I'll look at the offensive line. We got to get some gel there. But now, man, Steelers look like, life after Ben, they'll struggle, of course, but life after Ben Roethlisberger is going to be all right.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree with that. Wheels aren't going to be completely off. John, let's dive into our previews. The first up, the Super Bowl runners-up from last year, 10-7 during the regular season. They finished first in the AFC North, lost to the individual champion Super Bowl Los Angeles Rams. The Super Bowl, Cincinnati Bengals, John, they opened the season at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Typically, the Super Bowl runners-up who have lost, they don't come out. They have a Super Bowl hangover the following year for some reason, and they end up not having a good year. Joe Burrow, quarterback, 4,600 yards last year, 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He just had an appendix taken out recently, so there's word he'll be ready to go week 1. Joe Mixon, 1,200 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, the rookie last year, 81 catches, 1,455 yards, and 14 touchdowns. T. Higgins had 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns himself. John, the Bengals, from my notes I have here, they've got our boy, Ball State guy, Drew Plitt, is on the roster right now for the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll see if he's fighting for a roster spot. Shout out Ball State there. Bengals, John, they have the 3rd hardest schedule in the league this year. So coming off a Super Bowl, 3rd hardest schedule. Their offensive line needs to help keep Burrow healthy and upright, I think. They did it during the Super Bowl, which gave them the chance to win. But leading up to it throughout the season in the playoffs, my God, our man Joey B was running wild for his life. They did sign La'el Collins to a 3-year deal, the offensive tackle, in the offseason to kind of help that. Each of the guys get 1 year aggressive, a little bit more to get help. Looking at an outlook for me, the Bengals have a tough stretch, John. They have weeks 11 through 18. I like to call it a murderous row on their schedule. They're at the Steelers, at the Titans, home against the Chiefs, home against the Browns, at the Bucks, at the Patriots, home against the Bills, home against the Ravens. A little bit of a murderous row there. That's those teams right there. That's where you're getting your strength of schedule. So that 3rd hardest schedule. I've got them going once again 10-7 in the AFC North, tied for 1st.
I would respectfully disagree. And it's not about much, man. We're splitting hairs, man. You said 10-7. I got it going 11-6, man. And Brandon, that number can maybe change to like 12-5. Pie Sky 13-3. 13-4. But I think they can even the best version of the Cincinnati Bengals could go 12-5. Here's why: they got the right age kind of team. You know what I'm saying? They're prime players. Whether you're talking about Joe Burrow or what's running back Mixon, him. You know what I'm saying? All those guys are like 25 years old. Jamar Chase, he's under 25. You know what I'm saying? These guys are in the primary life, man. So again, man, they got the quickness on offense. You like, dude, they have patience. They have patience on offense. They like ball control. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the old Patriots in some regards. They like clock control, not ball control, clock control, right? But the biggest question is, like you said it, man. Their left guard, they drafted guys, they brought in free agents, man. Their left guard position is still not solidified today. So I mean, and that's just competition. It's not like they you know what I'm saying? It's not like they have like a guy that they're not, or two guys. They have two guys. One guy, of course, it's always the same old thing. Man. One guy's better in run coverage. One guy's better in pass coverage. They need both. You kind of need both guys. You know what I'm saying, to do a little bit of both. You know what I mean? Especially with that team. You can test them. This particular defense, right? I would nitpick at that. You can test them at the corners. I know we got some happy names. We got Eli Apple. We got Dax Hill, who's up and coming. We got Von Bell, who I think is on his final year of his deal. So again, you know, a lot of guys, you know, guys like that are hungry. They you know, whether the Bengals resign them or they go somewhere else, they're looking, you know, for max dollars. Because again, like I said, they're in the prime of their career. So, Brandon, I kind of like them to be more of a hungrier team than they were last year. They know that there's the way to get back to navigate through the season is through health. The way to get back to the Super Bowl is to make sure Joe Burrow is 100% and upright.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like this is going to be a little bit of Super Bowl. Like you said, that roster or that record could go from 10-7 to 13-4. It could be even 9-8 possibly, just depending on injuries. Depending on injuries and whatnot. I mean, John, I'll bring up their schedule real quick, and I'll kind of go through where I've.
Well, you said where can it go 9-8? You think?
Yeah, I'll go. Give me a second. I mean, it's not the easiest schedule, John. It's the third hardest schedule in the league. So I'll kind of go through real quick. So week one.
Well, with that, Brandon, hold on, because I like where your head's at, man. But with that, so you're saying you think the AFC North might be the hardest division in football?
No.
Because once Deshaun Watson gets out there, with Cleveland, they'll be a different team.
The AFC North won't be able to hold a candle to the win of the AFC South. Or excuse me. AFC West, not South. AFC West.
Okay, I got you.
So, sorry, I was looking at my thing here.
Oh, yeah,
AFC. Week one, home against the Steelers. I've got them beating the Steelers. Week two, I've got them losing at Dallas. Week three.
Dude, no way, Brent.
Yes, on the road in Dallas. Huh?
No way they lose Dallas. No way they lose to Dallas.
They do. I'm telling you, John.
The bigger the game the Cowboys got.
They'll be fine.
Run down the leg.
No, that's later in the season. Beginning of the year, they're all right. They're playing loose.
Oh.
It's once that shit starts getting a little more nervous and a little more, oh my God, we need this. That's when the piss runs down the leg. So early, I think they play loose and free. Everybody's healthy. So I got them losing to Dallas. I've got them beating the Jets at the Jets. I've got them beating Miami at home. At the Ravens, I think the Ravens get them at Baltimore. At New Orleans, I have them beating the Saints. I went back and forth on that one. I've got them beating the Falcons at home. At Cleveland, I have them losing to the Browns on week 8, which could be Deshaun Watson return night. It's Halloween night, Monday Night Football up in Cleveland. These two rivals.
Oh, my goodness.
I just think Cleveland I think they get this one done. Then week 9, they take on the Panthers at home. No worry about there. They go to Pittsburgh week 11 for Sunday Night Football. Who knows how the Steelers are playing right then. I just chalked it as a win for them. I think they beat Pittsburgh as of right now.
Yeah, it'd be a split. Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't want to show my homerness there, so I didn't give them the split. At Tennessee, I think it's a loss. Home against the Chiefs is a loss. Home against the Browns is a win. At Tampa's a loss. At New England's a loss. Home against Buffalo, Monday Night Football. I think Buffalo's going to have more to play for than what Cincinnati is. So I gave it to Buffalo. And then home against the Ravens, I gave them a win against the Ravens at home. That's where I got my 10-7/9-8.
Okay.
I mean, you got to go to Tampa and New England. Now, I know New England people are saying that they're different this year. They're worse, and the wheels are falling off. But let's relax.
They don't have an offense coordinator. They
got two.
They don't have a singular offensive coordinator, man. I mean, I know we're not supposed to question Belichick, man, but I'm like questioning Belichick right now.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying, man. 9-8, 10-7. I don't believe in Tennessee that much. Not over the Bengals. I don't. But we shall see.
Okay. Looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, John. Last year, 9-7-1 with the one tie with the Lions. Finished second in the AFC North. This team looked dead in the water at times. They lost to the Chiefs in the AFC wild card. No more Ben Roethlisberger. They signed Mitch Trubisky and drafted Kenny Pickett, as we talked. They opened the season at the Bengals, who we just talked about. Trubisky, Rudolph, and Pickett are your quarterbacks right now. Najee, Benny Snell, McFarland. This roster for wide receivers, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. From what I've been listening and reading, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, you drafted George Pickens and Calvin Austin. I think when they drafted Calvin Austin in the 4th round, I think that's a wake-up call to Chase Claypool. As, hey, buddy, it's time to step it up with these drops and all this temper tantrum stuff. Like, either play football or we're shipping you out. We're not going to renew the deal. So they got Calvin Austin in there, who's a slot guy, change of pace. They've got their big guy with Claypool. You know, I like the makeup of this. You got Freiermuth at tight end. I do like it. Steelers have the 12th hardest schedule, tied for 12th. So it's not a murderous row per se for the Steelers. They lost Juju Smith-Schuster to the Chiefs. James Washington went to the Dallas, who's now out for 12 weeks with a knee injury. TJ Watt's coming back, defensive player of the year last year, 22.5 sacks. Yeah, Dan, you said TJ Watt didn't do anything last year. Defensive player of the year, 22.5 sacks. I'll say it one more time. For the Steelers, John, record-wise, I tried to stay away from my homerness and just try to give a clear and precise thoughts with them. I've got them at 9-8. They're just over 500. Mike Tomlin's streak continues once again. I got them week 1 losing at Cincinnati. I got week 2 them beating New England at home just because I think New England, it's the home opener. New England, you're not sure what you're going to get. Who knows what the Steelers can do. Maybe they can pull off a field goal win there. At Cleveland, I've got them winning this game at Cleveland just because there's no Deshaun Watson. I think them against the Jacoby Brissett is an easy win there. Home week 4 against the Jets. I like this being a home game against them. At Buffalo is a loss. I think week 6 home against Tampa is a loss. At Miami, I think is a loss. At Philadelphia is a loss. I think the Eagles are very much improved this year. They're one of my sleeper teams this year, the Eagles. I think it's a loss week 8 there. The beginning of the season is rough. I've got them with losses all over the place. Weeks 5 through 8. So I have them starting 3-5, if that tells you anything. Home against the Saints, I think they get a win. I think Jameis throws a couple picks to Mika and TJ Watt. Week 11 against the Bengals, they win. Week 12 at Indianapolis, I will be at the game. I have my tickets. Week 12 at Indy, I think they lose. I think Indianapolis gets them finally. The Colts finally beat the Steelers. At Atlanta, the Steelers win. I've got them beating Baltimore at home. At Carolina, they're going to win. Week 16, John, I was back and forth. Christmas Eve, I just think the Steelers are going to win Christmas Eve night. against the Raiders. Week 17, they're at Baltimore. That's a loss. Week 18, home against Deshaun Watson. I think it's a win. I think they sweep Cleveland this year based on all their drama with that being a home in. So that's where I got my 9-8. What's your thoughts on this Pittsburgh Steelers team going into this year?
Who's going to help Watt out there on the defensive, you know what I'm saying, on the defensive front of the side of the ball?
Casey Hayward.
The Steelers know. As much praise that I gave all the quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying, that are both returning and new to the Steelers organization. Like again, there's gonna be a point in the season where, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna hit a wall. Pickett's gonna hit a rookie wall, and Trubisky is gonna do a Trubisky, right? So who's gonna how are we gonna step up? Who's gonna step up? Pittsburgh has always been like notable for having more than just one guy that's, you know what I'm saying, that's all pro or pro bowler. And there's talent, you know what I'm saying, on that defensive side as well, at middle linebacker, you know what I'm saying, all those things. But you know what I'm saying, what does that production look like? This is the new era. Who's the leader of the team, Brandon? I know Mike Thomas, you know what I mean, we know that he's the coach, right? But who's the leader on the field? So those are the things that I kind of look at in this transitionary year.
Cam Hayward. He's the defensive and offensive now leader. He's like the main captain for that team. He's the outspoken one. Him and TJ have taken those reins.
Okay, hold on, Brad. You cut out there on that last part.
No, I was saying Cam Hayward and TJ Watt. Those are now the main voice pieces, captains of this team.
Okay. I got you.
What's your outlook record-wise?
Record-wise for them, man, you know, you can never count them out, dude. I know Reggie's listening. Reggie, you know what I'm saying, caller number 2 all time. Is probably listening right now. You can't never leave out the Steelers, man. I wouldn't be mad about 9 and 8. I can foresee that. I think we probably switch those numbers, Brandon. It's probably gonna be more of an 8 and 9 type of season for them, where they'll be, you know what I'm saying, chopping at the bit. You know what I'm saying? It'll be mathematically, they'll be calling these headaches. You know, oh man, if Pittsburgh wins this game, then XYZ doesn't get to go. Kind of like how I did last year with the Colts, if anybody remembers. Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying, won the last game of the other season, they get to, oh no, the Colts lost their game, and the Pittsburgh automatically got in. So there could be potentially some episodes like that throughout the season, man. I give them probably, like I said, I think I told you off show call. I think this is Mike Thomas' first losing season, but you know what I'm saying, it's not by they're better than a 4-game, you know what I'm saying, winning team. They're better than a, you know what I'm saying, a 2-game winning team for sure. So Pittsburgh is probably living in the, you know what I'm saying, 7, 8, 10, you know what I'm saying, this year.
Okay.
7 wins, 8 wins.
All right, let's bring our guy on. D-Cop, what's going on?
Hey, what's happening, fellas? Y'all doing okay?
Doing well.
D-Cop, what's up, man? Dude, you took
man,
over our
good.
show last week, man. You took over our show last week, dude. We got to.
But hey, believe me, it was fun, man.
It was,
but
but we lost 4 callers because you took too long.
All right, sorry, man. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's all good. No, it's okay, man. It's okay. Go for it. What you want to talk about?
Clearly, I got some haters out there. That's okay. No worries. So, a couple things I want to hit on, right? I truly believe Cincinnati takes a couple of steps back, and here's why. The only thing that went wrong for the only thing that went wrong was for Cincinnati last year was their O-line. Other than that, everything they touched turned to gold. They addressed the O-line in the offseason. However, I just don't know that they can touch the stars like they did last year. You know, Brandon, to your point, 11 through 17 is beyond a murderer's row. So of those games, 11 through 17, I see them losing at least 3 games, maybe 4. So
my position is D-Cot and Brandon, is that y'all say murderer's row, they some murderers they damn self.
Yeah, but listen, but everything they
this ain't the little sisters of the poor. They ain't the little sisters of the poor no more.
No, I'm with you.
I'm going to cut that audio and use it later this year.
Right? gotta have fortune, and everything that they did last year, it went there. Think about the playoff game in Tennessee. It went their way. Everything went their way. That doesn't happen in the
They
NFL.
beat Kansas City, though. They beat Kansas City. They beat Kansas City.
I'm with you. But I say 9-8, and there's a bit of a step back. But more importantly, I want to hit my boys, because last week I only hit my boys for like 2 minutes. The schedule is out. I sent you guys a message. January 29th.
Stop.
Exactly. Memphis, Tennessee. It's a short spot. We gotta go represent our boys. Right? I think, and just think about this. That's Super Bowl weekend, if I'm not mistaken, the next week. Right?
No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks later. They moved it back.
Great opportunity to get out there and support our guys. Just want to put that out there.
Super Bowl, they moved back 2 more weeks. So it's not till like the 10th or something.
Brandon, you cut out a little bit.
I said the Super Bowl's not till like the 10th or so of February.
Well, I said, the weekend before, what I'm saying, it's that time of year, that's what I'm saying. So I'm going to be looking for that. The schedule's out. We got Golden State the 14th of December here. I can't remember the date of the Lakers game.
I can't. It's the day before my birthday if you want to give me those tickets.
We'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
My prediction for the Pacers, 34-48.
Stop it.
That's my prediction for the Pacers. No, I'm dead serious.
Jonathan Birdsong said that Miles Turner's gonna be an all-star this year.
Brandon, I don't think he believes you, D-Guy. I think he's saying the Pacers gonna be living in the 20 bubble.
No, I don't even say that.
I'm serious. I say 34. This is top end. I'm talking top end, 34-48. Because here's why. They've got to make another move this year. We talked about that last week. They've got to make another move. And that move is going to add salary. It's not going to add talent.
Okay.
Sure. So I say top end, 34-48. I say bottom end, 28.
Man, you think 34 games, man? That's like playing position, ain't it? Ain't that like 10th in the East?
Well, not necessarily. Because listen, here's what I'm gonna tell you this: they're gonna lose some games that they want to lose because they've got to get Cleveland out of the lottery. So to get that, they got to. No, look, right? So I'm serious. They got to, man. Because if not, they turn into 2 second-round picks the year after.
Yeah.
Who wants that, right? So we got to make sure we're in the right place. We all know the Pacers aren't a threat this year and next. So don't.
You got something against second-round picks. Purdue players got to go somewhere. Purdue players got to go somewhere.
Well, that's a good point. Also, too, you got to realize you got Pritchard drafted them, so it doesn't matter anyway. So, hey, speaking of that, did you all see what Vic said on Twitter? And again, I'm off Vic because you don't air stuff publicly.
Victor Oladipo said y'all lied on him.
Yeah. He said exactly. That's my point. He's not the first that says it. And there's a correlation. Larry Bird and Pritchard. I'm telling you, I've said it. They have to go. I know they're saying Larry Bird's gone. Yeah, right, whatever.
He's already gone.
Has to go. He has to. Pritchard has to go.
Brandon, you want to touch Victor Oladipo?
Man, Depot, why is he talking now? What drew the thing for him to talk? He don't need to talk. He's probably turned into a Paul George. He just wants his name in Indiana talked about again. Move on. Paul George has finally moved on, I think. So let's move on, Vic. Nobody cares about you.
Well, I don't think Paul George has still moved on. But the point is, multiple guys are coming out saying very similar things. And I've said it to you guys.
Well, I'm sorry that he's soft and he can't take it in this state.
Hey, listen, Brandon, 90% of the NBA is soft. Let's not do that. That's not fair. 90% of the NBA is soft mentally, right? So let's not do that. My point being is Pritchard, Bird, and all their cousins need to go. They got that female assistant coach, except for my boy Calvin King. I'm a big fan, right? So the female they've got, who's the lead assistant, she's got to go too. They got to go. I'm telling you, I've said this, and it's coming out more and more.
He's campaigning.
Well, wait, and we'll see him on.
Gotta go, man.
We'll see you on fan night there, shaking hands and kissing babies with the Pritchards.
You know what? That's the third time you said it. If I see Brandon, if I see you, I'm gonna look you up. You better watch it.
All right.
No, but seriously, man, they've got to refresh. So I'm not gonna hold up all the show. But last thing, there's this school east of Mississippi. As I told y'all before, it's a remake here. The only thing that can stop that school is health this year.
Oh my goodness!
I can't wait to Texas A&M.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with
anything
you're saying about. I don't have a problem with anything you're saying about Alabama. They deserve to be. Are they ranked third?
Jonathan,
are they ranked second or third this year?
First.
Jonathan, don't say that word. You know they're first.
They're
first.
Stop it. You know they're first.
They're first.
Yeah, Jonathan, stop it. See, you're trying to get me to cuss, man. I'm not gonna cuss.
No, I'm not. I did have a little bit of a problem. Brandon, can you pull it up? I did have a little bit of problem with the rest of the list, man, because I just can't believe Oklahoma's still in the top 10 and they lost 2 quarterbacks and a head coach, but they're still supposed to be top 10.
Yeah. That's high. Look at Notre Dame. Look, come on. We don't want to get too deep.
Notre Dame number 5, Texas A&M 6, Utah 7. Michigan 8, Oklahoma 9, Baylor 10, even Oregon, John, they're 11th. NC State, though, I like. I got NC State over 8.5 wins this year. Mark that bet.
Brandon, I'm with you. I'm saying Utah. Utah's out there. Utah and Oregon are still favored to win. I get it that there's going to be a laser show that they came to USC. I'm for it. I get it. But, nobody kind of comes in. I mean, they should. But nobody's going to come in and run over Oregon. Nobody's going to come in and run over Utah. They're not. So
I'm going to tell you this.
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you this. Mark the tape. Florida upset Utah in the season opener this season. No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm not doing the travel across country and all that. I'm just telling you. Those boys, they've got pedigree. No, I'm not saying they're going to blow them out. It could be 21-20. I'm calling my upset of the year.
You said Florida's going to be okay.
Yeah, and not because of talent, because of emotion, with all in play, new coach, AR-15, all of that. Mark the tape. Florida beats Utah.
All right, D-Cop. We appreciate you, my man.
All right, look, hey, keep me on, man. I want to listen to the show. My internet is real choppy. If you guys don't mind.
All right, yeah, I'll put you on hold so you can listen.
All right, thanks, fellas.
Yep. All right, let's take another call. Nas, what's going on, my man?
Man, ain't nothing, man. I'm cooling out. How y'all doing, man?
Good, buddy. Good. Sorry we didn't get you on last week. I saw you on there last week, but we were running a little long with our little
man. Program it, baby. You gotta do what you gotta do.
What you got?
Mm-hmm.
What's on your mind this week?
No. Yeah, what y'all want to talk about, man? I ain't really have nothing at the top of the deck. So what y'all want to talk about?
Let's
Wherever
talk.
y'all want to go, I'm game.
All right. Well, first let's go college football. Georgia Bulldogs. They're your neck of the woods down there. What do we do they have a shot to beat this Alabama Crimson Tide again this year?
Oh yeah, they have more than a shot. Like ultimately, Alabama's gonna be the favorite, but dude, you got to win it twice. Like you're gonna have to beat one of these teams. Is gonna have to beat the other twice. So that just makes the stakes a little higher, and also makes the chances for something unlikely to happen. Because when you got that kind of high level O-line and D-line play that those two teams have, man, like anything can be the difference in the game. So yeah, they got a shot, man. But Alabama's the favorite, but they got a shot.
Okay. I do like that. I think it's gonna be a good matchup. Like you said, it's twice. They got to beat them twice.
Hold on. Go ahead, Brent.
Go ahead. I said they just had to beat them twice, like he said.
Oh no, I just gotta ask you, man. With Atlanta kind of the Falcons kind of tapping out, what have you scouted to who's gonna win? I know it's a terrible question. Who's gonna win? Who you think gonna win the NFC South this year?
The NFC South. Well, okay. Who I think is
a runaway?
Right. So I'm looking at it like this. I think Tampa is going to easily be able to handle it and win it. But as far as where I'm putting my money, I'm taking the underdog Carolina Panthers, and I'm getting like 15-1 odds. And I'm going to keep banging that thing until the odds go down because it's there. Give me the Baker Mayfield resurgence story.
Right. He's going to be hot-tempered, hot-headed, you know what I'm saying, ready to make a point, right? And
CMC has to stay healthy. Like, you need a lot to go right for it to happen.
Right.
But, hey, man, I'm going to take
They
the shot.
need everything. If everything goes right for them, they'll be right there. They'll be, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like the division's bad, right? But it's not like you can't, I don't know, nobody can run. Nobody's going to run in front of Tom Brady and Tampa Bay, but they're not a perfect team. Not right. You know what I'm saying? Imagine they're not a perfect team. And there's going to be some transition, too, with their leadership. They got, you know what I'm saying, a new coach on I get Tom Brady. Hell, he didn't even, at a certain point last year, he didn't look the same. You know what I mean? He didn't look like, oh, you know what I'm saying, now they get into a close game. Of course, Tom Brady, oh, my God. Then it's like the mythos beats the other team, right? But I don't know. I just kind of, there's always those divisions, there's those opponents in those divisions that somebody overlooks. I think you're right. I think Carolina's getting overlooked. Matt Rule, like, this is a make or break year for him. If they don't win this year, he's probably back somewhere in college.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. He's out of there. So, yeah, I'm going to take them as a sleeper. The Saints still have a good defense. So if Jameis is just capable and you get a full healthy year of Michael Thomas and the Kamara situation plays out, then, you know, New Orleans is nobody wants to go there and play them.
Are we going to get a focused Mike Thomas? Will the Saints get a focused Mike Thomas this year? I mean, he didn't play last year, injury and then, you know, contract issues.
Well, supposedly he avoided the pup list and he's looking good in practice. And of course, this is early season NFL, so we're getting all the lies right now. Who knows if it's true? But you know, if it is, Slant Boy, hey man, Slant Boy ain't no joke, man. He'll get you. He might not go 99, but he'll get your first down. So you know, there might be a problem. And Kamara's not suspended. Kamara, you know, he's one of the best backs in the league. So I think the division could be more interesting than people would expect. I'll say that.
Okay. This is a question for both of you. Can we just get everybody just do a little kumbaya throughout the sports world, and let's just enjoy these last 3 years we have of LeBron James and his greatness? Can we just do that? Because he just signed the extension 2 years today. We only got, 3 years left. Let's enjoy him. Everybody, let's just kumbaya.
No, that's good advice to give to people, man, because, like, especially, like, you can bring this up to Knicks fans and they'll really get it. Like, when you're watching an all-time great, you'll appreciate it much more later, and you'll be bragging to your kids, nephews, and all that about how you saw this and you saw that, the things they're only watching highlights of. But when you watch it with that hatred in it, you don't get to appreciate it. So those Knicks fans who didn't appreciate Michael Jordan at the end, and of course, all the basketball fans, the ones who didn't appreciate Kobe Bryant at the end, there's a lot of retelling of the Kobe Bryant story, because if you remember, you know, closer to the end, man, the popularity wasn't like the popularity. Of course, he's Kobe Bryant, but just go back and read all the articles that were coming out then. And people were talking about nobody wants to play with him, this, that, and the third. Like, it was a lot of criticism of Kobe Bryant, and then we lost him, and then all of a sudden, everybody had their come to Jesus moment. They're like, oh man, we really didn't appreciate that guy, and now you know. So yeah, same thing with Bron.
Okay, John.
Who they gonna hate to that level of degree, or love to that level of degree next? Like, that's what I mean. He made a doubt. I mean, I didn't necessarily doubt LeBron coming out of. I mean, I'm not trying to utilize his whole career right now, but I didn't necessarily doubt him coming out of high school, and you know what I'm saying. But like, again, coming out of high school, the Cleveland Cavaliers have a championship. That's that right there, you know. But and you know what I'm saying, we all know, you know what I'm saying, what he did in Miami.
Yeah, I think
that's something you haven't come to. But like, man, you have to. Who are you going to hate to this level? There's nobody on this level right now. The Knicks, You know what I mean? There's nobody.
I mean, I think KD's right there right now where everybody's tired of KD.
They're tired of it. That's what we're tired of hearing. Like, man, you know. So yeah, that's because of the other way. You know what I mean? So, but like, no, man, I'm going to appreciate it. I kind of think this Bronny talk, playing with my son, is just kind of like talk, like that's what he would like to do. I think Bronny James is going to be, if he wants to be, I think he's going to be an excellent college basketball player. If that's what he wants to be. I think after a season or two, he could be a fringe NBA guy. He's athletic as hell, but he's 6'2", and that means you got to play, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of point guard in the league. And I don't necessarily see that with the ball handler. He got some decent handles. I don't necessarily see him as a ball dominant point guard in the NBA, but athletically he's right there. But so again, LeBron commits to 2 more years with LA, man. What can LA do as a franchise to help facilitate that he goes out winning? I didn't say winning the championship. Again, those are a whole lot of things that they would have to move and shake and try to trade and piece together to make that happen. And again, I don't know that they're financially there like that. Consider the salary cap, consider like who's a free agent, all those things, right? But like, can they put together a team that at least
it just depends on AD. If Anthony Davis can be healthy and who we saw a few years ago, then you know all things are possible. You make a couple fringe moves around that, you can do something in these 2 years. But as we know, that's highly unlikely. So more often than not, I think we're looking at a play-in team, possibly higher seeds than that. But anything more than that, I mean, that's just wishing at this point. Like when you look at their roster, when you look at they don't have many assets that really improve the team either. So it is what it is. But I think Jimmy Buck has kind of figured out, like, look, even if we don't win the chip, we'll get this LeBron Swan song. That'll give us all the primetime games we need. That'll give us all the sponsorship, ticket revenue, and everything else. And, you know, the Laker brand will keep going. And please believe this is the Lakers. In 5 years, they will reload. And, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, they position themselves in a way to where even if they lose on the court, they're going to win financially.
Let me ask you this, Nas. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks fan base or even ownership, doesn't it got to bother you a little bit that Giannis is doing all this talking about, oh, I'd play for this team or I'd play for the Chicago Bulls? I'm like, do you really want your franchise star player talking that? I mean, I don't like the way it sounds.
Well, even if you don't like it, you better get in your car and say it to yourself under your breath.
Right.
You better not say nothing to Giannis. I know that. You need to keep that relationship as healthy and happy as you possibly can. Because for you to have a superstar re-sign in the city of Milwaukee, like, let's be honest, it's cold, not much nightlife, not really the star attractions that other places have. So you kind of got to, hey, man, you don't like it, but you better be quiet. You're Milwaukee.
John, what was your thoughts?
Like that as a Midwest guy.
John,
but, you know, it's tough, man, because with Giannis, you never know, because I feel like every time I see him interviewed at this point, it's almost like he's cutting a commercial. So I don't know what Giannis actually thinks, because he seems to want to please everybody in interviews. So it works for him. And to your other question about once Bron's gone, who's carrying the torch, who's going to be that, like, global figure? Oh, it's Luka, man. Luka is going to be a big deal. We keep forgetting that dude is 23.
Yeah.
That's
Luka's
right.
going to be a big deal, man.
That's right. It's gonna be sick. They got them. Well, they did move the needle this past year. They got it. I mean, the West is hard this year. Again, the West is gonna be hard again this year.
Yep.
Definitely.
Awesome. Anything else, Nas?
Man, I don't know, man. That stuff is gonna be interesting. Oh, shout out to Kevin Durant, man, because like for those who have ever been in a relationship and you tried to get her to break up with you, shout out to KD for pulling the ultimate. Let me see if I can get them to so pissed off that they just trade me move to where he said, well, if you fire Nash and the GM, then I would be willing to come back. And they said, no, we're not doing that. And we're not going to get mad and act irrationally and trade you like you actually want. So they didn't go for the okie doke. And now we're in a standoff. But If I'm Brooklyn, I ultimately ship him to Toronto, man. I just stand on Scotty Barnes. I just say, look, you're giving me Scotty Barnes and a lot more, but I just demand Scotty Barnes and the picks, and I get that deal done with Toronto, and I just reload that thing, and you just walk away from the KD and Kyrie era, and you reload with some young players, picks, and some cap space, and you're ready to roll.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Anything else?
Nah, man, I got nothing else, man. I didn't really have anything in mind, man. I'm just watching the preseason and listening to everybody lie about being in the best shape of their life, like they do to us every year, and ruin your fantasy football team. Anybody out there who likes fantasy football, get on Underdog and try out Best Ball. Really dope concept. I know I promoted this last time, but it's worth checking out, man.
Okay.
Best Ball is fantasy football where you draft your team and there's no roster adjustment. You just draft the team, and whoever scores the highest, that's who's slotted in your starting lineup. But really fun little thing, and there's a lot of money in it now. So check out Best Ball.
Okay. Sounds.
Doc, hey, man, real quick. If you had the first round pick, who are you taking in the first round on fantasy?
I'm taking either Jonathan Taylor or Jefferson or Cooper Kupp.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree with that.
Okay.
So I got a couple drafts coming up next week. I got 3 drafts back to back to back. And the one big league I'm in that's been a keeper league, I've got the 5th pick. So middle of the row. So I'm kind of looking there. Probably end up going to be like a Najee or a Derrick Henry type probably pick there at number 5.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
So,
like, who do y'all got? Before I go, who do y'all got top 3?
I've got I like Cooper Kupp at 1, Jonathan Taylor at 2, and then number 3. I agree with your top 3. I just got mixed around a little bit. I just think with Jonathan Taylor, I think you're seeing it this preseason. They're kind of massaging it and not playing him in the preseason. I know you want to give him a franchise player your workload, but I also hear a lot about Nyheim Hines is going to get a lot of touches out of that backfield and out in the wings. So I'd rather have Cooper Kupp with Matt Stafford as long as he's healthy, throwing to him. Obviously, your MVP and Super Bowl MVP. So I got Kupp 1, Taylor 2. John?
Can't hate it.
Hey, well, nah, if you don't know, I really don't play fantasy, but I have to ask. Just because I do play, I don't play fantasy. I just put you like that. I just have to ask, man, just because everybody, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be quarterback, and I know that's not where you would go with your first pick. Obviously,
yeah. If you want to join the league, picking quarterback first, sir, please join the money league with me. Need that.
Well, Lamar Jackson don't get nobody no point.
No.
Oh yeah, he get you nice points, but you don't take them to, top 10. You just quarterbacks are a little further behind just because there's so many of them that can get you points.
Right.
You got to take guys who get targets and carries.
The only way that they're picked that early is if you do the 2 quarterback leagues. Then that's where it gets a little tricky with them. So awesome, Nas. It's been a pleasure, my man.
Quarterback league changes.
We talk to you again soon. All right, take care, buddy. All right, that's our guy Nas, John. Yeah, man, we got to get you going with some fantasy football. We got to get you into our money league, We'll take that deposit. Hey, John, I want to talk college football. Real quick, first, let's go to our ad reads. Let's pay some bills. Let's do our ad reads. We come back. We want to talk some college football as we finish up the evening.
Absolutely.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck goose because you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm insurance agent Scott K. Nichols will help make it easy and affordable to help protect your family no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Scott K. Nichols in Indianapolis today at 317-243-3509. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I also want to thank our sponsor, Mavericks Custom Motorsports, where ideas are created, dreams are born. Specialized in custom motorcycles, boats, slingshots, Jeeps, and trucks, offering pickups, deliveries, and shipping worldwide. Check them out today at MavericksCustomMotorsports.com. Let them know that Crossroads Sports sent you.
Crossroads Sports would also like to thank Wiseman Logistics. Their team is dedicated to the successful delivery of your packages. Services, domestic and commercials, are available for delivery of your packages 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's Wiseman Logistics. Hit them up at 877-744-6212. Wiseman Logistics.
All right. Thank you to our sponsors. John, I will go college football. We are 2 weeks away from week 0. Earlier tonight, it was announced on Twitter that the College Football Board of Governors met on Monday about major college football operating under a governance structure outside of the NCAA in the future. We kind of talked about this a while back when all this other stuff started going on with the conferences, but the conference football playoff people are talking, hey, we want this governing body to oversee the Power 5 schools and all this outside of the NCAA. That way they don't have to worry about it and they don't screw it up. What was your thoughts on that?
Man, I haven't read it verbatim, like, you know what I'm saying, word for word, man. I got to get eyes and ears, you know what I'm saying, behind on that. Does it, so I look at this, man, because rather than just say automatically there's a bunch of government guys wanting their, you know what I'm saying, how can they get their hands into this $1 billion pocket that is college football? There is that part that wants me to say that. There's also a part that wants me to say that it does need to be regulated. You know what I'm saying? So, Brayden, you always hope things, you know what I'm saying, when anything changes or when anything, you know what I'm saying, has to be controlled by another agency, you know what I'm saying, created by the, you always hope that things are on the up and up. And I kind of hope that things are up and up. Like right now, we're in, I feel like we're in 3 different daggone time zones when it comes to like what system of college football that we're, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, I know the BCS is over, and I know, you know what I'm saying, we're in, you know what I'm saying, we have 4 teams that get to play the national championship, but like there's conferences and other teams is like wanting like that to change like right now. They want, you know, expansion, and there's you know there's people, you know there's networks and whatnot that want to help with the expansion. But again, all those things, you know what I'm saying, come with a lot of money, a lot of commercialism, a lot of, you know, money changing fast and hands in other people's pockets. And, you know what I'm saying, everybody wants to make sure that the kids aren't getting exploited, right? So I think Peacock said last week that, you know what I'm saying, he thinks there'll be some type of unionization that'll happen in the next 2 seasons in college football. Or now, you know what I'm saying, we really will be in a play for play. Like, these dudes will be free agents. The transfer portal is basically a free agency portal. That's what it is. So, that's basically what it is. It's the free agency portal, right? It's the free agency, yeah, you can call it that. So the change is coming. It's changing rapidly. Unfortunately, the NCAA sat on its hands for far too long and didn't either A, want to embrace the change, or B, you know what I'm saying, just say, yo, we're not going to do that. We're going to go over here. If you want to play football for the NCAA, play by these rules. They kind of turn their head and, you know what I'm saying, let things get out of control. So here we are. You know what I'm saying? I know the purist in me wants to have, you know what I'm saying, wants the every game to matter, and wants, you know what I'm saying, all these college big time programs, whether you're a blue chip program or a Power 5 program or a 1AA. I mean, your program should be trying to win games, not lose games. Your program should be trying to, you know what I'm saying, but it's not necessarily about that. Really, it's about big money games on Saturdays, and, you know what I'm saying, the rich gonna get richer and the poor gonna get poor. Because as we saw when you pulled up the top 10, none of the poor people are in the top 10. None of the poor teams, quote unquote. None of the poor teams are top 10. That's why I said Notre Dame, how could they be in the top 10? You know what I'm saying, with much transition they had. How could Oklahoma be in the top 10 with much transition that they have from year over year? I get it. They get a lot of guys, you know what I'm saying, blue chip athletes to come in that year over year. I mean, you know, But you telling me Oklahoma is a top 10 program? They're gonna satiate their way. They could because they of course they pay the Big 12, and what does that really look like? What's that gonna really look like this year? But Brandon, change has to be embraced. So and again, for things not to be totally out of control, and like I said, for nobody to get exploited. So that's what it looks like. It sounds going to come down the pipeline, and if not sooner than probably sooner than later. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Outside, let me go back to the basketball world. Which team is worse? The IUPUI men's basketball team of this past year, or the Indiana?
Hold on, what team?
The IUPUI, Ooey Pooey. Do you hear me?
No, I broke you. You keep on breaking up every time you say that.
Man, IUPUI.
Okay.
Or the Indiana Fever.
What about what's the man? Brandon, the Fever in the shambles. There's gonna be all kind of new players there. The veterans and the rookies that didn't mix this well. They're all this year. So the worst team between those two, man. I'm not gonna do. We got the friends of the program on both sides. Those protective institutions, man. The Fever, man. But dude, they needed to win bad. They lost with the final game. Was this past week. I think they lost like 18 in a row. And as we all know, IUPUI struggled mightily this past season, man. I'm not answering that question at all. I know what you're doing. You're trying to make sure that folks around here, around Crawford, the Crawford League office, make sure you support those teams next year. IUPUI men's basketball and Indiana women's Fever, WNBA women's basketball, man. Yeah, because they do next year coming up, especially for the Fever next year. And IUPUI will be going to. As we have media credentials for that program in basketball, we'll be going to check them out. I think it's going to be a year of growth for them for sure, especially after last year. How could it be worse, right? And for Coach Crenshaw, friend of the program, Coach Crenshaw of IUPUI. But the Indiana Fever got a lot of work to do. They really do. So I expect them to be in talks, Brandon. Like when they talk about who's coming out of college. Amongst the women's ranks, I expect the Fever to be heavily scouting. You know what I'm saying? Whoever that is, whoever that may be.
They're going to go out and get that UConn star, Paige Breckers, even though she tore her ACL.
No, man, she's out. Paige, she tore her ACL. I don't do. You know what?
I think you take a chance
you
still.
Can still draft players. You can still draft players hurt now. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it. Yeah.
I agree with that for sure. 100%. Breaking news. Breaking news out of the National Football League. The Indianapolis Colts, John, have made some news, and not the news that you want to expect to hear. Colts tight end Andrew Ogletree suffered a torn ACL today, per source. A brutal break after his standout camp, who is carving out a true role as a rookie this year. Rookie tight end Andrew Ogletree out for the year, torn ACL.
Damn, man. First and foremost, man, say you feel for Ogletree. Losing this season. Period. That's first and foremost, man. You gotta put that out there, dude. You know what I'm saying? The position, definitely, that's where they drafted, was a position of need.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that too, man. Sucks to be, you know what I'm saying? I hear that for you. Absolutely.
Yep. John, MLB baseball, we are getting way close to the push for the postseason. John, the New York Yankees have the second worst record since the All-Star break. They cannot win a baseball game. I know they've got some injuries. They've got some people out. But they have the second worst record, John. Their 14, 15-game lead in the ALD and the American League East has now dropped to 8 games. And they are on the verge of getting swept again as they got swept recently. They're about to get swept by possibly the Tampa Bay Rays. Yankees are in a tailspin. The Astros have passed them.
Who's getting fired?
I don't know if
Who's getting fired?
I don't know if Boone's gonna get fired or not, but it's
I think there's still time to right the ship though, right, Brandon?
yeah. But are you nervous? You have to be nervous as a Yankees fan. You've seen the writings on the wall. This team usually does well in the regular season and then falters in the playoffs. And they've already lost home field. The Astros have taken it over.
The main thing. What's happening? Their pitching has gone south on them.
Pitching and hitting, besides Aaron Judge.
Okay, well, yeah, he's the MVP candidate, rightfully so, considering the season he's been having. But you know what I'm saying, like I know, man, you gotta have critical pitching to navigate this, get to the playoffs. And once you get in the playoffs, you gotta have some lights out pitching. The Yankees, correct me if I'm wrong, were they super busy during trade deadline?
Not super. They made a couple moves. Benintendi they went and got from the Royals. They got another guy from the Cardinals who will be able to play here soon. He's been out with injury.
Okay.
They traded Jordan Montgomery, which was a solid pitcher. They traded him to the Cardinals, which made no sense when you need pitching. And they just traded the guy away.
Yeah, man. I thought they would be a little bit more aggressive. And it might have been like behind the scenes money thing, why they weren't more aggressive in the off season. I'm sorry, excuse me, but before the trade deadline. I think they got enough time to bounce back, Brandon. It's not like, you know what I'm saying, this is the end of September.
2-8
so they got
of their last 10 games. 2 of 8 in their last 10 games. Houston 75-43. The Yankees are 72-45, and then Cleveland. Those are your division leaders. Your wild cards right now are Seattle at 65-54, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. But you've got Minnesota, Baltimore, and the White Sox coming up behind.
If Houston somehow makes his way to the World Series again, would that be more of like we can stop reminding ourselves about them quote unquote cheating?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now in the National League, your Los Angeles Dodgers are the first team to 80 wins. They are just running amok. They're 8-2 their last 10 games. They've got first place. In the East, you got the Mets right now 75 wins, but the Braves are 3 games back. Those guys are right now in a 3-game series. Braves won last night crushingly. I'm nervous about the Mets. I'll say it now. They've got a couple starting pitchers that have gotten hurt. So right now you've only got 3 guys. I know you got DeGrom and Scherzer, but they're taking on the Braves tonight. Scherzer's on the mound. They have to get this one tonight. You can't afford a sweep down in Atlanta, getting swept there. I'm nervous with these Mets. Cardinals are right now leading the Central, 64 wins. Your wild card teams are the Braves, Phillies, and then San Diego. And then Milwaukee, San Fran are the teams that are just on the outside looking in as we move on. San Diego, John, how's it feel with them? They thought they made some trades, got Juan Soto, make that push for the postseason, and then you're expecting to have Fernando Tatis back, and then he gets slapped with a 80-game suspension. Substance abuse.
Oh, Brandon, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hold on. I didn't catch the last part that you said, though, dude.
Fernando Tatis out 80 games, suspended 80 games for the Padres.
Oh, dude, that's horrible. That's horrible. Like, Brandon, it's part of next season too, right?
Yeah.
Man, that dude, this is, and the team backed him after the accident, the motorcycle accident or whatever it was. Man, Brandon, that team had a chance to be real special. And they're not out of it or anything like that, but that team had a real chance to be real special. And we have Yeah, selfish baseball player, right there. So I don't know. Didn't he just sign a big time deal maybe 2 years ago?
Yeah, huge deal.
Yeah, he can't. And they're kind of married to that. They can't move that. I mean, it makes they just traded for again, man. Like what? It kind of makes your head. I mean, he's not done for his career, but like baseball has kind of taken a hard stance on performance enhancers. They had to. People like me are super critical of them because like people like me are like, dude, you knew about the cheating back in Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire era. I'm sorry to be political, but like this is what it is. They don't want you out here with juice in your body. Whatever it is banned. Whatever he said he needed to get. He had a bad case of ringworm. That's why he said he had a bad case of ringworm, man. That's why he took this stuff, whatever was in the system. I don't even I can't even pronounce it. I don't even want to butcher it. You know what I mean? But he said he had a bad case of ringworm. And, of course, we have medical fact checkers that work for ESPN directly. And, that they said if you had that much case of ringworm, you must be an elephant. You know what I'm saying? The doses, how much they found in his body. So, saying dumb on his part, hurt his team, hurts his own personal brand. Because, again, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong. The Baseball Hall of Fame and kind of what comes with that, still to this day, that's probably one of the hardest ones to get into.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Comparatively, when you talk about football versus basketball, dude, you do 20 and 10 for 5 seasons, man, you're in there, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Football, a little bit harder. Football's a little bit more, come on in, you know what I mean? Too, but like baseball, they kind of still take that all, everything that kind of plays in the old guard teaches this new guard. It passes down, man. That's why our guy, Pete Rose ain't a daggone Hall of Famer now. They won't let him in because it's like a baton being passed amongst the sports writers that vote on it. Pete Rose cheated the game. That's how they feel, Brandon. And that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? With this banned substance. They don't want it in their game. They don't want to be considered cheaters in that regard, in any regard. So that's why you have 80 games. Dude, 80 games. Can you believe it? 80 games, Brandon? Woo. Right.
Brutal.
And you already got your money, though. Brandon, he already has his money. It's not like it's I don't want to name me one of the Yankee guys. Remember the Yankees guys from Oakland? Was Giambi? I thought they was Giambi. Didn't they get Giambi's brother, too?
Yeah,
both. They get Giambi's brother.
Both of them.
And it didn't work out with Giambi's brother. And now Giambi's brother in Oakland, it's like, man, it's like mystical ground for him, man. I remember Giambi had a good night and a great night, and little brother would have like a little special night too, like he get a double or something. He can play too. Well, no. And he went to he flew. I'm pretty sure he played for the Yankees one time. It's like Yankees flew. Like, dude, this ain't the Giambi we want. You know, that we thought we was gonna get. But like, no, man. Those teams. It's stupid, man. To pay. To like I said, to too high of a price to pay, man. When you know what I'm saying, they want to. Your game is supposed to be so honorable.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else, John? Before we wrap.
No, man. I think we had a pretty good show, man. When we talked about all the things that that are out here in the sports atmosphere, man.
Who do we got next week? Which two teams? Go ahead and give our people a preview. Which two teams are we going to preview?
I mean, so who do you want? So you said you want to talk a little Bears.
We have
we
Colts, Bears, Browns, Lions, and Packers. Which two teams next week?
Okay. So let's be fair. Honestly, man, we're going because this is our city is Indianapolis, and it's always going to come. The Colts are always going to come up. We're going to talk Colts anyway, right? Let's say we talk this past weekend. We talked Steelers and Bengals. Let's talk NFC North and talk Detroit and Chicago.
Okay.
And the Packers too.
All right.
We'll get everybody in.
All right, we'll do all four teams.
Dude,
Colts.
we got to talk Packers. Dude, Brandon, this dude lost his mind. I mean, he didn't necessarily lose his mind again, but like he pulled an Aaron Rodgers general manager card today. Yeah.
He's got the right to do that, right?
Hey, man.
He's got a right
He's
to.
like on the sideline. Dude, I thought Matt LaFleur was the coach.
He is.
Who's the general manager? Brandon.
Aaron Rodgers.
Who's the real general manager? He might as well fire himself.
Gutekunst better leave it.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers said, these wideouts, oh my goodness. And that's not talking hyperbole. He said it like that.
Yeah.
He said his wideouts were playing like trash in a game in a practice that he wasn't even playing in.
Well, you gotta call him out sometimes.
Does he have GOAT ability or not? You know what, Brandon? Aaron Rodgers is playing around with the Green Bay Packers. And I wish him well, Brandon, but like playing like, you know, pulling strings like this, man. I get it. You see it as just him being critical of the team, but get out there and show him then, Aaron. You talking to, but like he's pulling GOAT level stuff, and you only got one Super Bowl. That's what I got a problem with. I don't know, Brandon.
We'll see.
What's he gonna do with Aaron Rodgers and his ego? It's not gonna sustain the next season.
He'll be all right.
Dude, they should go undefeated in that division.
I guess.
Put some pressure on it. I'm tired of splitting with Minnesota. You should sweep Minnesota.
Hey, real quick, your boys made the news again. Antonio Brown. He was trashing.
He's chirping. Who's he chirping about?
He was trashing Tom Brady for manipulating training camp break. He's also called out his trainer. Brown took to Twitter to criticize Brady's leave of absence from the Bucs and his trainer Alex Guerrero. Quote: Alex Guerrero's sick. You think I would have smacked that TB12 boy? Stop playing with me. Boy getting paid by Bucs, sick, and taking players' money too. Tom Brady manipulated the game. Gets 14 days to go home, get his mind right. LOL. Now you see the difference. Put that shit on. End quote.
Do you believe there's some truth in what he's saying? I do.
Oh, some, but how do you decipher it between all the crap that he says all the time?
Why? What business is it of yours?
Yeah.
Who cares? I don't care. I really don't care.
You walked off the field. It's not like the Bucs did it. You walked off the field.
He's trying to say there's a level of hypocrisy in how people do things versus how he gets away with whatever. Look at me. I couldn't get away with this. Tom Brady couldn't get away with that. I never seen Tom Brady take his shirt off in the middle of the game. Oh, he did this? I never seen what atrocities did he do in the Steelers locker room? Who did that?
Yeah.
What other off the field issues did Antonio Brown have? Who did that? I've never seen Tom Brady have any of these issues. Tom Brady has had some issues. Yes, he destroyed an iPhone.
Can I ask you this?
Remember, he did this. Yes, Tom Brady has done some quirky things for New England Patriots, right? From a coach fan standpoint. I'm just putting that out there like that. You know what I'm saying? But Antonio Brown, dude, like Brandon, he could still play in the league.
Can I ask you? Yeah, I want to ask you about that.
They're not going to allow him to play in the league because of his mouth.
If you're Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, do you go after and try to sign Antonio Brown for the Cowboys?
He would never. Nah. If you want to be taken, nah.
He had Des Bryant. He's had Michael Irvin.
I thought he had a chance, Brandon. I thought he had a chance until the last little episode when he came out. Not this one, the last one.
Okay.
And then he had to apologize for.
Okay.
Dude, I think it's done. I think it's done with him.
All right. Sounds good.
But it's his fault. It ain't nobody else's fault.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, John, I'll let you wrap us, my man.
All right, man. Like I said, we had a great show tonight, man. I want to thank D. Cott, caller number 1, caller number 2, Niles for calling in, man. call it again, man. Yeah, man, just some great conversation, man, around, you know what I'm saying, sports, man. That's what we're about here at the Crossroads Sports Show, man. Also want to thank our sponsors, Matt Custom Motorsports, our sponsors, Scott K. Nichols, State Farm Insurance, and our sponsor, Wise Logistics, man. How could we do our show without them? By supporting us, the best thing you can do is go check out what our sponsors might have in store for you. You'd be surprised. Anyway, other than that, Brandon, man, I think we had a great show, man. We'll try to run it back next week, bigger, better, and badder. If I can use the WWF term. I hope we don't get sued for that. I'm just using it. I'm just remember that old WWE saying bigger, better, badder.
Yep.
Maybe that's for your time. Anyway, man, I hope to do it again next week again, man. Let's like I said, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show. You can find more episodes on iTunes and the Google Play.